At Runlet Law Firm, we handle lots of workers' comp cases. The injuries we see are as varied as they are in any other kind of negligence case. It could be, I've seen severed fingers, and I've seen all the way up to someone passed away because of something that happened at work. So it can be any type. If there's a work-related injury, meaning it happened at work, you should call an attorney and just discuss it with them. We're happy to do that. We may not take the case, but we're going to give you good advice and tell you what you need to do. If an employee is injured while they're at work, and this can be at a factory or it can be a salesperson driving and is in a car wreck, you should always notify your employer of the injury. It's important that you do that because they're also required to notify the Mississippi Workers' Compensation Commission, and if they don't, there can be penalties. But it's also important to make sure they do that so that you start receiving the benefits that you need. And if you have any trouble, you need to contact an attorney. So make sure the number one thing you do is let your employer know, and make sure you know the name of the person that you told this to, and be able to tell your attorney later, because sometimes it comes up and they say, well, they didn't ever report this injury to us. That's why we're not paying. So always make sure you tell your employer if you get hurt. When a Mississippian's been injured at work, there's several types of benefits that they can expect to receive if the injury happened at work and is a compensable injury. There's some legal issues that have to be looked at to see, but for the most part, all you have to have is an injury. It doesn't matter whose fault it was. It doesn't matter if the injured worker was just being dumb and tripped and fell on his own. Negligence doesn't come into play. The flip side of that and the negative side of that is that you're limited on the benefits you can get. You should get benefits fast, but you're limited on what you can get. So the types of benefits you should expect to receive are: one, something to compensate you for lost wages if you can't work. How do you know if you can't work? Your doctor told you you can't. Your employer has to honor that, and you're entitled to receive a percentage of your average weekly wage. It's not a lot of money, but it's better than nothing. The other thing that you're entitled to receive are medical benefits. Any medical treatments that you need should be paid for by your employer, whether that's for physical therapy, actual doctor's visits, medications, even transportation to and from the doctor. Most people don't realize that when they have to drive to their doctor with a work injury, they're entitled to a mileage check for that. So that's basically the damages you can get. You can't get anything for pain and suffering. You can't get anything for loss of enjoyment of life, but you can get benefits that are in those two categories. If you've been injured on the job and you're watching this video, you should go to our website, fill out our form on the first page and hit submit. That'll directly come to us, and we'll call you right back after we review it. We'll discuss your case with you, no matter how minor the injury. We may not accept the claim, but we'll give you some advice and tell you what you need to do. Just don't ever be ashamed or afraid to call a lawyer, and we're always there to help. So you should call a lawyer every time, because most of the cases that I've seen where people didn't have a lawyer, they ended up getting shortchanged in some way. A lot of times we see people try to handle these things on their own, and then they reach some kind of frustration and they'll call us, and then we have to go back in and try to correct that. It's really better if your attorney's involved from the get-go. So if you're injured, I do recommend you call an attorney, but most importantly, you must tell your employer that you were injured. They have to be notified before they're responsible for paying anything. Runlet Law Firm's been representing injured workers and workers' compensation claims for over 20 years. We have extensive experience. We are 15 miles from the Workers' Compensation Commission, and we can represent anybody in the state. We've got offices on the coast, we've got offices in Tupelo, and we can handle anything that happens anywhere in the state with a workers' compensation claim. Client communication is the most important aspect that needs to be had between an attorney and a client. Really in life, communication. Within our team, we always emphasize we've got to over-communicate to each other what's going on, and we do. And we also try to make that spill over to communications with our clients. We strive to always get back with people. We say 12 hours. Within 12 hours is our absolute goal. And we hope, and most of the time it's quicker than that. But there's got to be a response. If somebody has a question or concern, there's no question or concern that we would ever say we're just going to ignore you or we're not going to worry about that. We will always respond. If someone's hurt in the state of Mississippi, or if they have a legal issue that we might be able to help them with, it's always probably nerve-wracking for them to call the attorney the first time. We get that. So what we have is just a free strategy session where we can hear your story and what happened in your situation so that we can provide you with some guidance. Whether we take your case or we don't, we'll provide you with guidance. So it's really a low stress call. First you'll call in and you'll speak to our receptionist, and she will listen to a little bit about what's going on, and then after that she'll transfer you to the appropriate attorney to really get into the nuts and bolts of what's going on so we can help you best.